hope I'm making sense. In my mind, I know, like, I think I'm a good communicator, but then sometimes I'm like, am I really getting my whatever. Hey there. Welcome back. I am off center. I'm in a different location. I am not fretting over being in the center of the frame, and I don't know what I've done to deserve this kind of luxury. So please let me know if you do or do not like seeing me filming in locations like this. To be quite honest, I have a shit ton of quaint little corners in my apartment, and I'm just kind of experimenting with where I want to film, frankly. And to state the obvious too, I am back to brunette, and I couldn't be happier about it. Now I've just got to wait for my hair to grow back out, which shouldn't take longer than another 7.5 years. Legitimately. And I'm wearing H3 merch. I'm so in love with this t-shirt. I got one for Jake for Christmas, and I thought I need that too. So that's the obvious. So what I feel I need to talk about in this video is, for one, this ridiculous rumor about Jeffree Star and Kanye West being an affair, and that being the cause of the beginnings of a divorce between Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, which I'm not even sure what the status is on that. But anyway, I want to talk about that rumor. I don't want to talk about Gabi Hanna's new vlog channel because, for one, I'm not paying as much attention to her lately. I, as you guys know, get a lot of flack for talking about her. But at the same time, I don't know how many times you guys have asked me what I think about that vlog channel, and I do have thoughts on it, so we'll talk about that too. And then, of course, I asked on Twitter for you guys to send me your questions, so towards the end, I'll keep the more personal stuff towards the end, so that if you're just here for commentary on YouTuber stuff, then we'll get to that right now. So, the rumor that Kanye West is having an affair with Jeffree Star.
Now that Kim's finally doing this, I feel like I can spill the tea that I've been holding on to for months. This whole divorce comes as no surprise. Kanye's been hooking up with a very famous beauty guru, male beauty guru. A lot of people in the scene have known for a while.
It's cold tea at this point. I think now that everybody's kind of agreed that it's bullshit. In fact, I think the girl that put it out, that started this rumor, has admitted that it was bullshit.
Really not even getting sued. I made this entire scandal up. There is literally not one bit of truth to anything I have said. I just tricked the entire world into talking about me again because I was on a lot of Adderall and bored.
But here's the thing. People were wondering at first if this is true. And let's look at it for what it was when this rumor first broke. A TikToker, who I thought was some nobody on TikTok. Turns out it's the toilet licking girl, coronavirus challenge girl. I didn't realize that until I looked up an article on this right before filming. So we already know she's a winner. Some no-name / toilet licking TikToker goes on TikTok to say, now that the rumor is out that Kim K and Kanye West are getting a divorce, I can finally share this information with you guys that I have been harboring, that I got from my lawyer friend, who I guess she was claiming works with Kim Kardashian or something like that. I can finally give you this information that the reason they're getting a divorce is because Kanye West has been sleeping with Jeffree Star. And how... Sometimes I think TikTok is getting too big for its own britches. And I don't necessarily mean the platform. I think it's a wonderful platform that really kind of encourages creativity and gives us that kind of feeling that Vine gave us, that entertained so many of us. But I also think that it is the platform where you can gain the biggest following, the fastest growing following for being completely talentless. Because it is so easy to become so successful on TikTok, I wonder, are TikTokers living in reality? That should be the title of this video. Are TikTokers living in reality? Because, and not just TikTokers, but those who consume TikTok, and I don't mean to insult those of you watching I'm sure that those of you who watch my videos, who also consume TikTok content, are more steeped in reality than the people I'm talking about. But I know that people wondered. As soon as that rumor came out, I know that people wondered if it was true. And it's like, why would we even for a second, okay, maybe a second, but why for longer than a second would we consider whether or not that might be true, considering the source, considering the nature of the rumor? Just as a bit of advice moving forward, don't get your news from somebody who licks toilet seats and then calls that entertainment on top of that. The questions I have around this situation really have more to do with whether or not Jeffree Star had any involvement in this rumor starting. Of course, he did address it with his response to it was something like, I woke up to Kanye sleeping with Jeffree and I was like, huh? Which very well could be true. And I'm not typically one for conspiracy or like digging for people's ulterior motives. I don't typically like to think through a lens that assumes that people have ulterior motives. But hear me out. When you get to a level of, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't think of people or refer to people as bad. I don't think even sick is really how I would describe Jeffree Star, but just that level of megalomania. When you get to that point, when you have been demonstrably, possibly the most manipulative person on this platform, I was pretty scathing towards Tati Westbrook, but for sure, Jeffree Star has intimidated her as well as a bunch of YouTubers. So many people have said they're afraid of him. I don't put really much anything past him. Lies, crime, whatever. I don't put it past him, especially if whatever, issue or topic at hand is something that makes Jeffree look or feel more like a celebrity. And that is really kind of what I've been mulling over in my mind, which is like, how involved do I think is Jeffree in this? Or if he's not involved in this or wasn't involved in the spread of this rumor, how much did he enjoy it? I want to be real about that, because Jeffree Star is, I don't think Jeffree Star is a clout chaser in the same sense that Tana Mojo is, or even Trisha Paytas, or I was going to say, or anybody really on YouTube, but there's one person I can think of who is clout chasing in the same way that I think Jeffree Star is, and that person is James Charles. And so I don't know that clout chasing is the right term, but it is this need, this desire to be seen as a mainstream celebrity. And I know that Kim Kardashian has referred to Jeffree Star as her friend before. We've seen her go to bat for Jeffree.
I see that my fans are totally hating on someone like Jeffree Star, and I see you being so petty, bringing up things in his past where he, was, negative, but he's also apologized for those things. And I get it's a serious deal if you say like racial things, but I do believe in people changing, and people that apologize, I will give them the benefit of the doubt.
We also saw her rescind whatever statement she gave in support of him when he was being criticized.
I do want to really apologize for me feeling like I had the right to say get over it in a situation that involves racism, and I just don't really feel like I have the right to speak on that. And I really, really, really am sorry.
So I don't doubt that they've met each other. I don't doubt that they might be friendly with each other or were at some point. When I say they, I mean Jeffree Star with the Kardashian West. But I do think it serves Jeffree Star for people to believe for a minute that perhaps he's had an affair with Kanye West. Or even just to put that image in people's minds that it's possible. And I do think that there is a layer of this that I haven't heard anyone talk about really, which is kind of just how offensive, just immoral, unethical it is to entertain a rumor like this about a straight man being in a relationship or an affair with another man. And of course, there are plenty of straight men that are not out of the closet. But I don't like it because we have been given no reason to believe that Kanye West would be attracted to Jeffree Star. Just like I wouldn't buy it if somebody said Jeffree Star was having a relationship or an affair with Kim Kardashian. Jeffree Star likes men. Kanye West likes women, as far as we know. But the thing that bothers me about it is again, we saw the same thing with James Charles, and James Charles was very heavily criticized for the way he has in the past really kind of tried to think of other guys' sexual orientation as malleable. And he has been very vocal about being attracted to straight men. And rightfully so, people gave him a lot of shit for that. The problem here, where it applies here, is that Jeffree Star was just the same. In fact, I think Jeffree Star to some degree modeled that for James Charles.
Hey, Nate's brother is single and mainly straight. Right up your alley.
Jeffree Star bagged Nate Schwandt, I think is his last name, who was a straight man. And oh yeah, then there was the time on some TV show or something where we saw Jeffree Star grab some guy's crotch.
I missed you. How was your show? You're not nice to me. I knew it was big.
Jeffree Star is not respectful of people's boundaries, people's expressed sexual orientation, or anything like that. And I think that it's a power move. I think that it is that with James Charles, and I think that it is that with Jeffree Star. So I think that the mix of being tied to these massive celebrities and at the same time having a rumor out that you have been having an affair with a straight man, I think serves Jeffree Star in the way that Jeffree Star wants to be served, in my opinion, from what I've seen. I hope I'm making sense. In my mind, I know, I think I'm a good communicator, but then sometimes I'm like, am I really getting my whatever?
This is a super quick reminder to like this video and subscribe to my channel if that's something you want to do. If that's not something you want to do, just don't. I'll shut up and start talking now.
But the fact of the matter is, while I do think there is plenty of straight man that would be happy to play along with Jeffree Star in a way that is flirtatious or sexual in nature because of his status and his power and his money, which I believe straight men have done to James Charles in a way that I actually find James Charles to be a victim. It's a very complicated situation, and I'm recognizing that there's so much nuance when we're talking about that topic. But what would Kanye West get out of that? I think that Jeffree just wants so badly to be that level of celebrity. And I think that he's got that kind of money, but I don't think that that's going to make you that kind of celebrity. And I don't know that anybody's going to agree with me. Part of it is just the fact that he's so damn tacky. I've said that before. So damn tacky. I know he sold it, but that all pink house with all the pinball machines, I've said that before in a video. Constantly eating candy and Taco Bell and Red Bull, which is basically my diet, but also I don't claim to be any kind of celebrity. Nor do I claim to be having an affair with Kanye West. Or Kim Kardashian, for that matter. But I think that he's occupying the same spaces. He's living in their same neighborhoods, schmoozing with them. I don't think that the connection between Kim Kardashian and Jeffree Star was organic in nature, and that they became friends because they're just kind of on that same status of celebrity. I think that the Kardashian Jenners are good at connecting with the social media world so that they're tapping into a different market.
Look how real the wax figures are.
Hi, Kylie, can I have a picture with you? Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
And I think that that is the only reason that there is any sort of connection between Kim Kardashian or the Kardashian West with Jeffree Star. I could be wrong. I don't know a ton about their relationship, but to me, it just looks like Jeffree Star grasping for a chance at being seen as a massive mainstream celebrity. And I just don't think that's where it's at. I could be wrong. It's all about perspective, right? So that was annoying. And I think that it is, whether you hate him, like him, don't feel one way or another about Kanye West. I do find it highly disrespectful to Kanye West to put out a rumor that he has been having an affair with a man when we've been given no reason to believe that he is attracted to men. That's not me like standing up for straight people's rights. I just think that in 2020 and now 2021, we've learned to kind of be more respectful of people's expressed sexual orientation. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm tired of this topic. In fact, I will say, if you're interested in hearing more about Jeffree Star from my mouth, hang tight. You might have something interesting coming soon. We'll see. Give it a month or so before you start bugging me too much about what I mean by that. But moving along. Gabi Hanna's new vlog channel. I'm going to pull it up to kind of get some numbers and make sure that I got the name of the channel correct and all of that. Gabi Hanna's Home Movies? Is that possible? Because there are 305 videos on there. Maybe that's her... I'm not sure that I know everything about Gabi Hanna. Imagine that. I thought that she created a third channel. But as it turns out, these videos that people are asking my opinion on are really just on her vlog channel, which I was subscribed to for a while. Oh, subscriber count is not there. Surprise. But yeah, I mean, this new Gabi Hanna, these new vlogs are kind of based on this statement here that is really the title of the pinned video, which is, I've been playing a character for 6 years. And a lot of people have asked my opinions on that. And oh my God. I'm going to say this very clearly, but I want to make it also clear that this is my opinion, my speculation, my armchair analysis of this woman. But Gabi Hanna does not know who she is. She has not figured that out yet. Just on a surface level, just looking at the past year, I don't believe that you can go through a months-long mental breakdown, as she calls it, then not go into any sort of intensive treatment that we know about. And then within 6 months or so, she has found herself and she is so happy with who she is now. And now that she's kind of like come into her own, and who she is, I figured out who she reminds me of when the whole topic came up about her saying that she's like a Phoebe from Friends. I think that she is Judy Funny, Doug's sister, in this new Gabi Hanna. And that's all fine and well. I think it's totally fine to like switch up your look, have fun with it, hair, outfits, makeup, it's all fun stuff. But what I find so mind-numbing is just how much she wants you to know that she smokes weed. Like, we get it. You don't need to tell us again. We get it. You smoke weed. And it's like, is she mistaken? Did she go back in time? Is she all of a sudden like in the 10th grade in the 80s where this is like salacious and she's like one of the bad kids under the bleachers? Because smoking weed is just something that a lot of people do. A lot of normal people do. And a lot of people do it on an almost daily basis. And so this need to tell us over and over again, here's how I'm going to put this. Gabi Hanna's new me is way, way, way too contrived to be her natural self. And we see it in how hard she tries to push this message out that I smoke weed. Hey guys, I smoke weed. Like, it's lit, brah. I smoke weed. Ugh. I hate myself. It's in that. It is, like I said, have fun with your appearance, but there is a new appearance that goes along with it. That in and of itself is not enough to say that anybody is acting like not themselves. But in conjunction with everything else, I think it does support this argument. I've only watched a couple of those vlogs when she first started doing them. I watched 3 of them, maybe 4. And I just couldn't. It was kind of like, I don't refer to a lot of things as like cringy or cringeworthy, but it was that for me. And part of it is the smoking on camera and like smoking in a way that just doesn't look really natural. Like, what did Nick DiRamio? What did Nick DiRamio say? Is that how you pronounce his name? I love him, but I hope I'm pronouncing his name wrong. But he talked about an actor in a movie smoking a joint and saying something like it looked so unnatural. It was like, oh, what is this? What did he call it?
He does not look like he's ever smoked a joint before. Are you drinking a milkshake there? He's like, yes, a drug cigarette.
This drug cigarette or something like that. That's how that feels to me when Gabi Hanna's sitting in her tub. This like need to have candles around her. There was one vlog in which she was about to really like kind of like set her outdoor furniture on fire because she needed to have candles in the frame for, I guess, the aesthetic.
I feel like this is a dangerous move. Oh yeah. What am I, like a witch? I gotta be honest.
Which, like, wanting candles in your frame is not a crime by any means. But for me, the kicker was putting that, like, spa music underneath these long ramblings. And so, like, all of those layers, just from a visual and audible perspective, is super contrived. And then the meat of her message, I'm surprised that people are buying into it, at least some. I've heard a lot of people say that she seems a lot happier on, making content on this channel with fewer eyes on her. There are only so many people watching her videos. And honestly, like, I think that's fantastic for Gabi Hanna. Like, and this is what I will say is the silver lining in all of this. I always want to find that before I talk about something. But I do think if this is what is helping Gabi Hanna get through this time and not be causing any trouble for herself or other people, and she's enjoying it, she should do it. And I have no issue with her doing it. But if you want my opinion on how it seems, I don't think that she has found herself as much as she either thinks she has or as much as she's telling us she has. First of all, smoking weed is not a personality trait. And if you make it a big personality trait or all of your personality, which she's kind of doing a good bit of, that has become the definition of uncool. And that's what's another thing that's so cringeworthy about all this is trying to, it feels, and you can tell me in the comments if you think that I'm way off base or if you think that I'm right on the nose or somewhere in between. But I've heard a lot of people echo this sentiment that it's like she wants so badly to look cool, it seems, speculating, this is my opinion. It seems so badly that she wants to look cool, and by talking so much about smoking weed, it is the quickest way to look uncool.
How did I forget to mention just how irresponsible this is to do in front of her audience of quote-unquote minors? I don't know why I didn't think to say that, but that is, probably the most important part of this whole conversation, but meh.
So there's that. I mean, I pretty much already said that. But, and I also, keeping in mind too that like she's gone through so much, not even in the past year, more like the past 8 months, that I just, recovery takes so much longer than that. I want to point out a channel because I am going to reference this in another video, I think, but there's a channel that popped up for me and it's called Psychology in Seattle, and it is run by a therapist, psychologist by the name of K Kanye. He talks more about kind of like marital counseling, but he talks about how when couples are broken, it oftentimes, or even people, I think he said, it oftentimes takes months and years for people to really kind of like find themselves and to feel recovered and healed from a lot of their past traumas and their problems. So I'm sorry, I don't buy that within 8 months Gabi Hanna's found herself. I'm not a professional, but based on what this professional said, I super don't believe it. But in what it looks like to me, a psychoanalysis from somebody who is not a professional in any sense, but it looks to me that smoking is allowing her, I've said this before, kind of like in conversations, but it's almost as if smoking is allowing Gabi to kind of go into different avenues in her brain and kind of escape into different thought patterns. And I think that is giving her the ability to step out of the reality that is around her, because we've seen over the past 8 months, the past year or so, however long you want to look at it, that it's been nothing but a mess. And I can't imagine that it has been fun to be Gabi Hanna, or that it is fun to be Gabi Hanna as she insists upon being on the same platform, doing the same thing, you know, just like attracting the same sort of criticisms that she was getting before, and really kind of just having to face that. And I think that was really wordy and confusing. Let's try that again. I think that Gabi Hanna created a reality around her over the course of her 6 years in the public eye, and especially over the past year or so, has created a reality around her that perhaps at times is insufferable. I am not going to comment on this video as to whether or not I think that Peyton is a healthy partner for her, but he seems to be somebody who makes life feel easier for her. I think that this new me and these videos where I smoke and like talk about life and music and things is less about her expressing her true self and more about escaping that really harsh reality that she created for herself. Hopefully that makes a little more sense. So, as I was saying, I think that smoking allows her to kind of explore these different avenues of her mind versus looking at the reality that's right in front of her that she's created. And what surprises me the most is hearing people say, oh, it seems that maybe she's like really found her new self and she's really come into her own, when we've already established that at least I don't believe that is very feasible given the time frame and the lack of work that she's done. But also listen to what she's saying. It seems to me, if I can find clips, I always say this, if I can find clips, I will, but I also know that I'll probably run myself ragged and make this video late by looking for clips. So I'm going to try to do that less, because I'm finding that you guys kind of just trust what I'm saying, and that not every. But it seems to me that in one stream, in one conversation, she will talk so much about how she's found herself and this new me is really who I was meant to be all along, and I'm so happy.
This is a dream, though. I don't believe in hell, but I sure believe in heaven.
And then in that same conversation, she will kind of like walk herself into a territory that is scary and kind of like closer to, I think, that reality that I mentioned before. And she kind of breaks down and talks about how much she hates herself.
And I think I've just spent my whole life working harder at wanting people to believe I was good. I was always afraid of people seeing the real me and still not liking it, because I've always been told that the real me is bad. I grew up believing that I was bad.
And I apologize if that is not the wording she used. I am not trying to paint Gabi Hanna's sense of self as anything less than what it is. But it does sound to me that she is not comfortable with who she is. And it does come out in those conversations. I'll have to watch one of the more recent ones to see if that is still the case. But she will break down crying over what it's like to be her and how uncomfortable she is being herself. So that sort of instability and kind of contradiction tells me that no, she hasn't found her groove. And then the other thing too, again, I typically don't look for people to be lying to me, but if you've done it so many times, then I'm more likely to go there. And with Gabi Hanna, I've said before, I don't take her for a liar so much as somebody who's kind of, well, shit. What I really think of her is, it sounds meaner, but there is some empathy in it, believe it or not. But I think she's more delusional than she is a liar. She's more mistaken than she is a liar. I don't even remember how I started that thought or that sentence or whatever, but I know where I was going. So we have found that Gabi will often tell us that she is so happy. This is not the first time we've heard this before. We heard this a year ago. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I've got my house. I've got my boyfriend. I've got my best friend. I've got my music career.
And this is why I have 3 amazing friends that I hang out with. Just don't talk about anybody. Don't do it. Like I'm in my fucking house, living my life. It's just, I'm at a place in my life where I'm so fucking happy. Like, I have great people in my life, like my friendships, my love life, like my house, my career, like everything's great. And I'm so secure in myself and who I am at this point that I'm so done with bullshit. Waiting for a hottie to come over.
It seems to be always at the same time too. It's always around like November through January, it's always winter. In fact, I heard her say to Irene, whether it was on a podcast or what, I don't remember, but I remember her referring to fall and winter of 2019, that time when she did those Insta stories about Trisha Paytas saying that, I've got my house, I've got my boyfriend, blah, blah, blah. She told Irene that was the most depressed she had ever been in her life. That was the most depressed she'd ever been. And at the same time, she's also telling us at that time that she's happy, and happy people don't start drama.
So I would never go out of my way to like hurt somebody. You know what I mean? And when somebody's doing that, you just have to step back and be like, okay, this person is obviously hurting, because you have to be hurt to hurt people. Like, happy people don't hurt others or try to hurt others.
Happy people just don't shoot their husbands. They just don't.
So, and she has said that it's always kind of around this time of the year that she is more depressed. And then I think what she said something is like, once like spring hits, spring to late summer or something like that, she's like, then it's over for you bitches. So it's like, the middle of the year is supposed to be like her time to shine, and then around the winter months are really when she struggles, is kind of the pattern that she has pointed out to her audience and to herself and to her friends. And I think that we all know that the happier a person is, or the more kind of comfortable they are with themselves and their lives, the less they need to voice that for us. It's one thing to be like, oh my God, so many wonderful things are happening and I'm just so like over the moon and so grateful to have all these blessings in my life, and I've been there. But there's a difference between that, just being joyous and excited about the now and the future. There's a difference between that and being like, hey guys, just so you know, I'm very happy. I have everything that I want or need, and I'm very comfortable with who I am. And in fact, like everything that you've seen up until now was not me. So that's why you didn't like me, but I'm me now. And I think it partially, that whole, like, I've been playing a character for 6 years, or this is not who I really am. I think that also kind of serves a purpose to try to kind of absolve her from everything that's happened in the past 6 years that we've continually asked her to address. And I don't count that video back in May-ish. I don't count that video as addressing everything that we needed her to. And by addressing, we also mean that you have some things to apologize for, Gabi. A lot of things, actually. And I think that by saying that wasn't me is kind of a cheap way of saying, like, leaving that girl behind, her and her problems and whatever amends she needs to make is somebody else. That's a character over there. Like, go talk to that character. But you can't because it's actually Gabi Hanna. I think she's a combination of all these things and at the same time, none of them. So Oliver is looking at me like, I wasn't talking about you, dude. I think really I just interrupted his nap. I probably said something too loud. But yeah, no matter what, I've always had this degree of hope for Gabi Hanna that she gets into good therapy. I think it is pretty apparent to most of us that she is not enrolled in any sort of treatment program that is truly helping her. And I hope that she gets that. I really hope that she gets that. And I think that in getting that, in getting therapy so that you can deal with all of those things that are triggered when you smoke weed and start talking, right? And then all of a sudden it triggers a memory or some trauma or a feeling, and then you start breaking down. And in therapy, you can work through those things so that they don't come up in like such a hair-triggered way. And, you work in therapy so that you can have more harmonious relationships with the people around you, so that you can make amends and apologize where you need to do that. And in doing all of these things, you're able to mend relationships, you're able to maintain relationships, you're able to maintain a sense of self. You can be comfortable not only with yourself, and being comfortable with yourself does entail a certain degree of being comfortable hearing criticism. And these are all things that we have not seen from Gabi Hanna. And by saying, yeah, I'm a different person now than I was 2 months ago is not sufficient. We're not going to change our opinions of you on a dime like that. It's just not going to happen, and it's not how people work. So I really truly hope that she does the work she needs to do so that she can be comfortable with herself and then truly say, yes, I have found myself. Finding yourself is not stumbling upon the right black lipstick and spa track to match your high ramblings is what it is. That is not finding yourself. And finding yourself is not like going to Hot Topic and finding the right top, but it's not going to a store and finding something that you like. It seems like that's what she's done. It seems like she's played around with different personas and she's like, ooh, this one. Judy Funny with a platinum blonde bob and a joint hanging out of her mouth. That's the person that's the identity that I have now. That's not how one truly finds themselves. That's what teenagers do. That was pretty scathing. I've been talking for a while. Those are my thoughts on that channel. If you don't like me talking about it, go ahead and bitch me out in the comments. I said that I would bring up a question that was a little more personal. I will say before, because I'm sure some people will be clicking off, those people who really just like aren't that interested in my personal life. For those of you who may or may not have heard that on my Patreon, we are doing some fun things this year. We have a book club that is doing what we call a year of Harry Potter, between really February of 2021 to February of 2022, where we will be reading the entire series and discussing it. We will be reading other books as well, for those who are not interested in reading Harry Potter. But we are going to be doing that. I have put out a statement in various places addressing my views and kind of our community's views on J.K. Rowling and how we kind of reconcile our thoughts on her juxtaposed with our thoughts on the series. So if you are either a Harry Potter fan or you are interested in reading the books for the first time, or just want to find a really great little community on the internet, it is a really fantastic place. Not just for people who like books. I think the bigger aspect of it is just having a group of people that make you feel safe and welcome. But at the same time, I feel comfortable around these people, and they're funny and they're wonderful. And so if you've thought about it, maybe check that out. Give it a month or so. That's patreon.com/helloleesh. We also have a private channel for people who are in recovery from addiction, considering recovery from addiction, or have loved ones that have issues with addiction and just want to learn more. As for the question that somebody asked me on Twitter, if you move to Savannah, are you going to do some ghost adventures since it's supposedly so haunted? So, if you haven't heard, I am kind of from Georgia. Like, that's where my mom lives. That's where we landed in my 10th grade year as a military family. It's where I spent 3 years of college. And I have been considering a move down south to Savannah with Jake. And to answer your question, just simply, do I see myself doing like ghost hunting videos? The short answer is probably not. The reasons why, I feel like there's so many. For one, I think we've all seen like ghost hunting channels on YouTube and like.
Okay, so Caroline, thank you for sitting down with us. Can you tell us why you think that there's somebody living in that house?
I don't know if it's a person or what. The only time I've been down there was to take that video and something grabbed me.
Are you sure it isn't just like a homeless person living down there?
No, you have to believe me.
Oof. Yikes, But the other things too are, for one, when I go like looking for this stuff, I never find it. We went on a walking tour where the guide said like 90% of his clients or tourists, whatever you want to call them, when they take photos of this certain cemetery, they find orbs in their photos. And I've done that with this cemetery twice in the past couple of years, and I do not find orbs. So I don't think that with something like that, if I go out looking for it, I will find it. However, there's another side of this too, which is considering Jake, who is a very important tenet of my life. Tenet. T-E-N-E-T, not a tenant. But I mean, he resides within my life. Anyway, he and I are both big, like, believers in general. When it comes to the supernatural, Jake is a big believer. If you are a fan of or just have watched How I Met Your Mother, Jake is Marshall Erickson. He's got some very strong views on how to interact or not with the supernatural world and not inviting certain energy into your life or attracting or risking anything like that. So I don't see us going out to like seek that kind of energy. I'm interested in it. We're both interested in it. But I'm not like gonna go out there and like try to taunt whatever might be out there, depending on how much you believe in this stuff. I'm not going to taunt the supernatural or try to invite it, try to coax it out of something. I think it's just something that's really interesting about the city, that it is known for being, if you believe, or if you don't believe, it is known for being super haunted. As far as whether or not I would like make videos around maybe something happening while I'm there, or just the things that we find, there's a lot of really interesting ghost stories and history there. I would love to share that with you guys, but I don't see that happening here on this channel. Not in the next year or two. I am trying to do my best to kind of hone this channel towards being a true commentary channel. And to do so, I can't talk so much about my personal life. When the time comes to pick back up the Girl Man's podcast, that may happen, because that kind of is a place where I am able to share more stories from my life, basically. So that could be a lot of fun, and it could be a really fun thing to do for my patrons, to do either live streams or vlogs there. But as far as anything on my main channel, probably not. But if that is something you're interested in following, if and when I do make that move, I've mentioned Patreon. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, to kind of follow my adventures there, which that's all kind of a big question mark, but it is something that I really want to do. That said, I've been talking for way longer than I expected to, so if this is your first time watching one of my videos, or you've watched a few and you haven't subscribed yet and you're kind of liking what you're seeing, if you wouldn't mind hitting the subscribe button, that means a lot to me. If you don't want to see me in your feed, absolutely don't do that. I never really take the time, of course I have my little insert, but I don't usually take the time to ask you guys to either like put a thumbs up or thumbs down if you don't like this video, and leave a comment. If you guys wouldn't mind taking the time to do that, that would be awesome too. That helps me a lot. So hopefully this is going to be one of 2 videos this week. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to have to learn how to cut things short if I want that to happen. So to you, the one person who's watching, who's not me, I thank you for coming back to yet another video. And I hope you hit subscribe and come back to the next one. I love you. Okay, thanks. Bye.